Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all doing good. So this is going to be the minor arcana tarot meanings covering the Ace of Cups. We're now in the cups now, so good. Okay, so the Ace of Cups, I'm going to give some of the keywords to what it means. It's an ace, so it indicates beginnings. So some of the keywords would be falling in love, um, and deep emotions, um, showing love, and um, when you feel as a bond with somebody, that's another meaning, feeling a bond and a psychic connection, because sometimes when people are very close, they can actually have sometimes they have telepathic connections. So I think that's what that's indicating when they say that in the Ace of Cups, for the Ace of Cups. But another thing that people should know about the Ace of Cups is that because it's an ace, um, it it's still I like using the term fragile because it's just beginning. So it's not like it's at the level of, say, the 10 of cups. It's still in the beginning, and it's something potentially um that could potentially be ruined, depending on what type of, how you play your cards. If you have an encounter with somebody and you're at the Ace of Cups moment. So now another thing is aces are also about opportunities, like I said before. So this is about, feeling love, having an opportunity for love. And as you can see here, there's a hand being extended out. That's the hand of God, and he's giving an offer for a chance of love, deep love, true love, in other words. But it is our duty as humans to to grasp, the opportunity. People do let opportunities slip by. Can't God can't just force feed us things. He gives us, subtle opportunities. So you have to, be aware. And okay, so with that said, so yeah, feeling love, and usually it's a unconditional. It has the potential for that unconditional love because it is spiritual. And people use these terms like because the it's overflowing. They say, they use that term. I forgot how it goes. Something like my cup overfloweth, or something like that. I don't know. It's supposed to indicate that, you're gushy, you're feeling a lot of emotion and stuff. Very emotional. Okay, so that's it for the keywords. I'm gonna explain a little bit in terms of love. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups in love, well, it's very good to see this card. Um, if you are, let's say you're asking about somebody and you see this card and it's in the past position, for instance, then that would mean that there was already a connection there. You've acknowledged it, it happened, it wasn't, your imagination, it's happened. Now, depending on what the future says, that could, mean something different. It could mean, if there's something like the Ace of Cups in the past, and then something more negative like the Ten of Swords in the future, or the present, maybe, then that would mean there was a connection, but now it's not so good, or it's going to get bad if you're not careful, so you got to look at it like that. Um, okay, now the more positive cups you see, the stronger it makes the energy of this card. So like you have, let's say instead, like the Two of Cups or the Ten of Cups or something. The Ten of Cups is really the ideal, cup. For instance, because it's like the happily ever after. But if you see that for the outcome, let's say, then that means that, you successfully reached a you've successfully reached a strong, relationship with this person with commitment and love. And just look out for the, other suits and what that entails. If there's a lot of swords around the cups, around the Ace of Cups, then it could mean that like something along the lines of, I would interpret it to be something like deep down there's actually love, between the people involved, but then there's conflict as well, verbal conflict, verbal communication, because in love there's having difficulty communicating things, but then that doesn't that doesn't diffuse the feelings. The matters of the heart, they pretty much they pretty much stay strong no matter what. And like, look at relationships, for instance, where you have, let's say you have a woman in an abusive relationship, or a man in an abusive relationship. There's both out there. um let's say, there's a lot of violent cards around, and then this card still appears, for the present somewhere. Let's say it's in the third position, which for me is the deeper influence. What's really the deep feelings here? Well, it means that there's still technically love between them, or she or he, one or the other, is feeling love despite what type of abuse they're going through. So I mean, think about those type of things, when you explain the story that you're finding in a tarot reading. um you know it's what's on it. Basically, this card can be indicating what's on the inside or outside, depending on where it lands. I mean, in certain readings, this could be the card that shows what's on the outside, and that's like the complete opposite. That would mean they seem like they're loving, in public, but then deep down, if there's something more sinister or something real negative deep down, that could mean that they aren't as nice to each other as they seem. So, the positions and where they land, where cards land on each position in the spread is very crucial. You know, you misinterpret that, it could mean something completely different. There's a difference between somebody feeling love deep down for their abusive partner, as opposed to two people that are just, pretending like they love each other, and then they they hate their guts behind closed, hate each other's guts behind closed doors. So, okay, so enough about the love. So this is basically fragile. It's the beginning of love. You want to tend to it. Think of it as a seed. You don't want to crush it, otherwise it could be ruined. And it could take any type of form. It's still, you're still not technically there. It's a gift, and you wanna help it grow. It's the opportunity per se, and people can ruin opportunities. They can ignore them. They could take them and still ruin it. It really is. It could really, you know, it could really unfold into its own story, and you have to wait and see. So, okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and explain about work. Okay, so if you see this at work, I would say that this can indicate an opportunity maybe for a job that you have a close connection with. Like, this is a cup, so you gotta incorporate feelings here. So it's something that you've always dreamt of doing. You have that opportunity to get your dream job. This is emotional, so you want to incorporate how feelings can be involved in this. let's say you got an offer for, it's a beginning, it's a start to do something that you've always wanted to do, or you feel an emotional connection with. I mean, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Some people have this desire. They can't explain why, but they've always had this urge to want to do something, and they can't really even explain why. What if, like for instance, you want to work as a just use something like as a director, like making movies, and you have an opportunity to allow that to turn into that. You might be able to work alongside a director. I mean, this isn't exactly saying you're getting your dream job thrown on your lap. That's not usually how the world works. It does happen sometimes. I'm not, being narrow-minded here. It can happen. I mean, depending on, what the job is, but you got to look into what's surrounding it again, and this could mean the beginning of a very, a very wonderful career ahead. It's coming, or it happened, and depending on what cards have shown up, you can see where you're at. So, all right. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but I usually, whenever I do readings, I tend to pull out two cards for the same position. Like some people just put one card to represent in the position. I like to put two. Like say for instance, I put one card next to it, and they'll both, like if this came in the past, and this is also the past as well. The reason I do that in readings is because it can give the Ace of Cups some extra dimension. It gives a little more detail, because the Ace of Cups on its own stands for a beginning, but a beginning about what? Now, if you saw, for instance, the Seven of Pentacles, you know, that could mean, let's say the person asked about money or work. The Ace of Cups next to the Seven of Pentacles would mean having a beginning to do something that you really have your heart set on, and it has the potential to grow, and it's something that could become lucrative. It could be something that you can invest in. So you see, there's a little more information that comes with it than to just say you had an opportunity for something. That doesn't really, I mean, I could use my intuition probably and use that, but I would like to, see a little more insight. So I do that. Okay. Just a little bit about my reading style. Okay. So I do that. I use two cards for one position to like I said, give a little more, to kind of give a more descriptive story. And that usually works for me. Like for instance, when you saw the Seven of Pentacles, that's about making a decision. That's another thing too. The Seven of Pentacles is about making decisions. So you are landed an opportunity, and maybe you don't know if you want to take it. You're thinking about, what if you have a dream, you've been landed your dream job or your dream, opportunity, and you're not sure you can take it due to maybe some mandatory obligation you have. I mean, people have different, circumstances in life, and you always want to think about that. Okay. So, now I'm gonna go and just talk a little bit about financially. It's kind of the same thing, an opportunity to make more money, and but then it's you got to incorporate the emotional part. So this is where it gets a little tricky. I would assume, I would think, depending on what's landing next to it, it's more likely that this Ace of Cups can indicate if you're asking about money, and you got to be careful how you word your question. You know, every little thing accounts for changing how the story is. I know tarot is interpretive. I understand that, but it's also pretty detailed as well, you know. So the Ace of Cups would mean something like someone who loves you might give you an opportunity. You might have some money or a gift of money come your way, because I don't know how else you can incorporate emotions into having money. You know, money is you could make money doing something you love. That could be another thing, doing something that you really have you feel an emotional connection to. Um, it could also mean, you know, you could also depend on, you know, putting your heart into something, because, you know, it is a cup. So you're putting your heart and soul into something. And let's say, I just, let me think of some examples. Hold on. Okay, like let's say, for instance, you got the Six of Cups, you know, as what's landing next to the Ace of Cups. You know that card, the Six of Cups? I haven't got to it yet. I have not interpreted it yet. But let me try to find it. Well, anyway, if you were to see, okay, here it is. Let's say you're asking about money, right? Maybe you're gonna make some money taking care of children, or doing something, working with kids or something, you know. I mean, look at let's say you got the Empress somewhere in the reading too. So it could, you know, you really got to look out for cards that have like a connection to each other. Um, you know, you, you're you're doing something that involves taking care of little children, and that's how you make your living, perhaps, or something like that. You know, yeah, you're very motherly, maybe, or nurturing. Um, and if you see like swords, you know, maybe you write a lot and you love writing, because swords is about communication. It's about words, you know. So you know, you gotta always think this indicates something the person has feelings for. And they're loving feelings. They're supposed to be loving feelings, not, you know, not hateful or anything like that. Um, there are some cups that are more negative, but that, you know, we haven't got to it yet. This is supposed to be the more loving, and it should be, because this is basically the hand, you know, the hand of God. So um, we always like to see God as very loving, you know, very kind, and this is, you know, this is the Ace of Cups. So okay, so that's my definition of the Ace of Cups. If anyone has any questions, they can feel free to ask, or you can see, you know, you can see my website at www.stellartarot.com. Okay, take care. Bye.